Hello YouTube, it is Pilot on the Run back again with another Kerbal Space Program video. So today we're going to get to work, and I'm going to try and format this episode a little bit differently because it's going to have some editing again. Right now I'm going to talk a little bit and explain what's happening, then you'll see some sped up footage with post commentary of me building our new module, and then probably a little bit of footage again with live commentary of me finishing up the orbit. So we're going to get back into the save game. And I'm just going to explain yeah, you know what, I'll do it now. I'll do the rest later. So basically what's going to happen is automatically new. So I'm going to be making a new station that's stock, but now the astute of you may have noticed right here this new button. So I know I said no mods, but as you might remember, before I was using the payloader mod, which is basically something that allows you to join together two different craft to create one craft, and it was really helpful for creating, not having to rebuild a launch vehicle and stuff. But basically now I got rid of payloader and I'm using the sub-assembly saver mod, which is what this button is. It's basically payloader but better. No offense to the people who created payloader, it's a great mod and I believe they did it first, but sub-assembly loader is just a little bit more refined. It's all in-game, so you don't have to exit it, and you can just save pieces of ships, not whole ships. So it's just kind of like easier to use, and I could like save something from the space plane hangar and then bring it in over here without having to do any editing or anything. So yeah, it's basically like, you know, 2.0 payloader, or payloader version 2.0. So I'm going to be using that now, and let's see, I'm going to think of the name and then it'll switch to the post commentary of me actually building it, unless I actually build it so fast I don't need to speed it up, but it'll still be post commentary, so I don't know why I said that. And name. Let's see, that one failed, and Barclay was replaced by Kutuzov, so we will call this the Kutuzov station. Therefore, we need the Kutuzov, because I'm going to stick with this Russian naming thing. I don't know why, but I just can. That's why. Okay, there's my answer. So this will be the Kutuzov, bridge. No, we'll call it, this will be a hub module. I'm going to try and make this one more, actually more modular than the last one. Let's see, I believe we'll be using a lander can on this, but let me think about that. Yeah, we'll go with the lander can. Or will we? Because I could put a probe on and then get lander cans mounted vertically so it wouldn't mess everything up. Yet at the same time, or I could start with the lander can. No, but hiding a probe in the middle of this will look kind of weird. But that's what it's made for. So we'll go with the Octo 2 because it's so tiny. And I believe they all actually have equal torque, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, that's going to be into the live commentary, and then the next part will pick up here. So, see you in a moment. Alright guys, so now we're live here from the post-narration pirate, here in the vehicle assembly building. So right now you're seeing this footage sped up at 2x speed, and I am going to be walking through the creative process with you guys. So what I've done here is I'm actually using a small command pod. Not small command pod, the smallest probe, the Prodobodyne Octo 2, as the center of this thing, because I wanted to have these lander cans, like, you know, at angle to just look good, but if you have the actual thing you're controlling it from at angle, then it kind of gets really messed up in how you control it and doesn't respond as well. So I used the Prodobodyne, which is in the middle of the stack there, will be the control point, and that'll work great. Now, I don't know if I could have just had the lander can be the original capsule and then just control here from the Prodobodyne, but one, it would be hard to actually like click on it. I'd have to leave space so I could see it, which wouldn't look as good, and two, it would be harder to build the whole thing off of a radially attached command pod. And you'll see here I start encountering problems with the symmetry getting all messed up by those being on the radial decouplers in symmetry, so then I just put it on in one-time symmetry and try to redo the solar panels. But you'll see here in a little bit I run into a point where the design just won't work, so I have to scrap it and start over. No, we haven't gotten to that just yet, so you haven't actually seen the functionalities of this new subassembly loader mod, although I assure you it is awesome. It's so helpful. If you play KSP, I highly recommend you go download it. So let's see, yeah, now I was going to try and build the thing separately and then just attach it. I think that was the plan. But we'll see that it doesn't really matter, and I don't think it even works out that well. But yeah, it's kind of hard to do the post commentary like this one. You know, like I know what's going to happen and then I get ahead of myself talking about something else and then I have to backtrack. It's not the greatest way to do this. Although if I keep making the videos in this style, I will get more practice and get better at it, which is great. Of course, this does make shorter videos, which some of you may like and some of you may not. On another note, which I was going to bring up later, but I'll bring up now since I just have no idea what to say, and I'm trying to think of something. Later on in the video, I noticed, what's his name? I think Kerman from the last video. I had totally forgotten about him, the Kerbal who survived a drop from orbit. Well, not really from orbit, but orbital velocities. From the high up. Let's just say high up. I can't remember what altitude it was when I dropped him out. Should have tried with the other one too. But I noticed him on the map when I was getting this thing into orbit, and you'll see a little bit of footage of that. Although I cut out the initial launch phase because that part's just really boring. But you will see. Not you'll see, but I noticed his little icon, and I remembered him. I said next episode would be Saving Private Kerman. I was going to go find him, but I forgot. So. After this one, the next episode, besides, here's the point where I fail, but we'll get to that in a moment. After this episode, you'll see a kind of montage, maybe with some commentary, otherwise maybe just music, of me trying to design and fly a plane over there to save him. I mean, that just, trust me, it won't be easy, and it probably won't even go well. But I will do my best to save him, and if worse comes to worse, I will fly a rocket to the other side of the planet, pick him up, and fly back if I can't get something else to work. Although I don't say that's correct. So here I was just testing the decouplers, because my problem with the Barclay station that was really frustrating me is that the decouplers were exploding and destroying the docking clamps. So I was seeing if they explode. I think, yeah, that. I don't believe I tested it again. But this design, as you can see here, the idea was to just, make it so there's even more docking ports, so the connection would be really solid, and it doesn't look great, and I wasn't happy about that, but I thought, you know what, if it works, then it works, and it's easy to standardize, just because, there's only one way you could attach the docking ports to those bicouplers, so I can't really, mess it up and have the docking ports not fit together. Probably there is a way. I would hope that I wouldn't know how to find it. Yeah, but who knows? I'm not going to try though, and I think that probably just made a big pop on the microphone. In other news on the microphone front, I am hopefully going to get a new microphone soon if I get off my lazy ass and actually order it before the sale ends. I'll be picking up an MXL 990 microphone, which is, to cut it short, I'm no mic pro, but I know more than I knew before now, is a very nice professional microphone. It only costs $200, but it's on sale on Amazon right now for $50. It's it's an opera I'm not going to miss, or an opportunity I'm not going to miss to get that. So I'm going to be getting that and getting a really nice mic setup. So hopefully everything will sound much better in the future, because it's a great mic. And here's the problem: you can see I cannot attach anything to the bottom of those. It just doesn't work. You can't attach to it. So then I had to scrap the ship design and start over again. But back to what I was just saying. It's a really nice mic, and I'll be getting a pop filter and stuff too, so I can't have all those problems with my P's. And maybe along with learning to enunciate a bit better, it will even make my S's sound better. So it's also the sound like a snake and more like a normal person talking. It will be worlds apart from what I'm currently sounding like, because it's just such a nice microphone. So I'm going to actually try and maybe go order that right after I finish recording this, even though it's already 10:45 p.m., because even when I'm on spring break and have all the free time in the world, I record my videos late at night. Mostly because I was playing tons of Hearts of Iron today. I'm not going to get into details on that. Maybe I'll talk more about it in one of my actual Hearts of Iron episodes, which I will be recording some more of tomorrow, but not in the KSP video. So as you can see here, I am now starting the new design, and I don't think I missed it, but at some point I actually Yeah, I haven't missed it yet, although as you can see it's already going better, and I remember to add some batteries since this thing's powered by core, but we're going to get another launch test here, and you'll see it's kind of fun because these things are clipping together, and so I was a little bit worried about that because they clipped even more than the last one. You see, they just launch in a pair. They're all connected to each other. So that was successful, and now I can get on to actually building the whole ship. So I think about at this point is when I first start using the sub-assembly loader. Yeah, here it is. So I'll get rid of those decouplers. I take off those for a moment, which are looking better than the last one, and they actually have a battery. And here we put in the sub-assembly loader. So the category I went into was miscellaneous. I wanted to see if I could create a new one or just not have any, but I couldn't, so put in the miscellaneous. And I believe I named it the Kutuzov module adapter or something like that. I can't remember. The previous screen's too small for me to read the writing, especially when it's sped up. So I apologize for that, but I am really not certain. So then I put that back, and I'll realize later that I didn't have symmetry on, so I have to replace it. I don't know. I guess, do I do it right away? Let's see. Oh, I do it right away. I'm just so astute, especially to like not forget in the first place. And I just thought I'd put that on the center of mass so it wouldn't like unbalance this thing. You know, just like, because the center of mass is pretty much in the middle. So by putting those on the center of mass, it's just gonna make the final craft more balanced. And I'm planning on this new craft being larger and more complicated and better and cooler in every way than the old one, because the old one was going to be 3, maybe 4 modules. You know, I'm just starting some stuff, and then pretty soon I'll go into the sub-assembly loader again once I program this thing done. Oh, I have some trouble getting the attachment point for the launch vehicle that I get out of the sub-assembly loader first, so I have to set that up. And I believe I put some RCS on too. I don't know which comes first. I believe RCS comes first. But back to what I was saying, the other one was going to be 3 or 4 modules at best. I was just, 4 modules at best. I was thinking maybe I put like a habitation module on the front. This is going to be infinitely better since every stage carries a good amount of fuel, since the adapter includes a half fuel tank, because I just love the look of those. I mean, I like the orange tanks too, but I'd be happy to make a fuel station out of just those, even if it doubled the part count, because they just look so good. I love the look of them. I don't like the 8th size tanks or the normal size Rockomax 32X tanks. I don't like their texture on them, but I love this little like serrated texture on these guys. So I use them whenever I can, and as you can see, I'm getting plenty of use out of them here. The other thing I'm going to try and use is the old instead of the nose cones, the old Rockomax adapters, because those look really cool too. I think, they have like the 4 stripes on the side, and I'm like drawing it out with my finger in front of myself, even though you can't see that, because if I ever do, at the very least, I have not yet added on a little face cam of myself, so you can't tell what I'm doing. But that's not really mattering. As you can see here, I'm having a lot of trouble trying to get this to work, but eventually I'll get it with this stack separator. I have to test it to see if it's actually attached to it. I believe I get it this time. Nope. There we go. That's it. So, about done with this. Just got to go into the sub-assembly loader. You can see, like, this is just so useful. I mean, with the payloader, I had to leave the app and do all sorts of the application and do all sorts of weird stuff to make sure the payloads would work together. With this, I can just drag out the launcher. I got it right there. Add some struts, fix the staging a little bit, and I'm done. So it's just so much more helpful. So here you'll just see me. I put on some lights and then do action groups. I don't know if I do the action groups first, actually. Yeah, here I just, to save some parts, I'd seen someone just put the strut straight across, because the thing is, those SAS modules like seem to connect weaker than other parts, and they tend to, like, my ships will just break on those. Like, they're flying through the atmosphere fine, and at some point the pressure will build up too much, and they'll just collapse on themselves, because the SAS module will disconnect. So I'm just adding some extra struts to reinforce it. But by saving a whole 8 parts, that every part counts, they say. And that's why I made sure that the adapter between each piece takes 9 parts. Not really, it just looks good, and it'll hopefully be really strong. But here you can see me trying to add some lights on there, and I gave up because the symmetry is all wacky and glitched. So these are the docking lights, just to make it easier to see the craft coming in. Of course, really, since I'm going to be flying the craft coming in and not this one, it'd probably be more helpful just to put some on that point, like directly at the docking ports, instead of just shining on the incoming ship. But I didn't think of that, and I'll probably just put some lights on the front of the incoming ships too. It'll be fine. And then here I just put some lights that'll actually light up the ship in a little 4-light cluster, so that it'll look good when it's not in the sun, since the sun doesn't shine through planets anymore. But I totally forgot what I was saying before now. Whatever it was probably really cool. Let's see, so I don't know how this is going to work, because according to this thing now, I've been recording for 11 minutes when the clip I'm recording over is 10 minutes long. But maybe it's counting time from the clip before it too. I really don't know. Hopefully this won't get horribly out of sync. But we're coming up to the end of this phase. I just finished up with the action groups. So that's about all I have to say with the ship, and sorry, I totally just forgot what I was talking about before that. If I was talking about something, I'm going completely crazy and losing my mind. It really frustrates me when commentators do this. They forget something, and I'm like, I can totally remember. I'm watching your video. It's right there. And then you don't think about it's a bit harder when you're having to think of what you're saying instead of just listening to what the other person's saying. But here the clip will cut, and now we're up here flying this thing into space. So I'm really hoping this audio doesn't get awfully out of sync. But as you can see there, I just ditched the thing. I cut it just before I ditched that tank, just because I wanted to. I don't know, because I felt like it. But I feel like this thing looks really good, and I want to make a ship that's just like this, but with a nuclear engine instead of the Poodle, and just fly that around. Because I think this thing looks really cool, especially once I get the solar sails out. It looks kind of like a biplane if you get the sun at the right angle. And it just, I don't know, I just really like the way it looks. It's like this squat little ship with a bunch of my favorite types of tanks and stuff. It just looks awesome. So here I'm just going to continue boosting into orbit, and this section, I don't know, I just kind of left in a bunch of footage of the thing orbiting, just so I'd have time to talk about whatever. So, and now I'm kind of already out of things to say, so I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I don't really feel like cutting out more of it. Mostly just worried, as I'm going to say for like the 4th time, that this narration isn't totally messed up, but I really think it will be, and I'm hoping it's not, because I don't want it to be all wrong. Yeah, but I'm going to stop worrying about that. In other news, you might have noticed there was no music during the VAB section. That's because the music gets sped up and it just sounds really bad. It gets like crackly, and it kind of pops and fades in and out and stuff. It doesn't sound good. Sometimes it sounds a little bit funny to hear it at like 4 times speed, but it's mostly just irritating, so that's why that's not there. I just cut it out. But this section, there's really not much to see. I actually barely made it into orbit. I think I had like 100 liters left of fuel, because I decided I wanted to get into 150 meter orbit just to get out of the way of all these random crafts that are floating around all in like 120 meter orbits, because I was just so smart to put them all in the same orbital plane. And by that you can read as not smart at all. But that's just the way it worked out. So here you can see I'm adding a maneuver node to make sure I don't like not burn for long enough with this little engine, although it turns out it's only going to take like 56 seconds, I believe the burn time was. It's not I believe, I'm actually certain. I'd like to think I have a pretty good memory when I don't forget what I'm talking about. But so that went fairly well, and the rest of it just pretty routine. There's a really, like, you know, several minutes of me first taking screenshots of the thing from different angles, and then just having it orbit Kerbin, first at speed and then not at speed, and I just unplugged my mic and watched a YouTube video. I let it speed around. So yeah, I don't know, this is just me getting up to F-up, so I was thinking it started now, but I mean, I don't know about you, but I just think it looks really good. I mean, I didn't zoom in anymore just because I wasn't thinking of it as so much right then, but I think it looks cool with the 4 docking ports on the front, and it's just this kind of squat little thing that's like a cross with the tail hanging off. I don't know, something about it really appeals to me. And like I said, I think I'm going to make some version with just like 2 Nervas at the back instead of a Poodle, and fly that thing around. Maybe even put that on like the spaceport or something. Call it my own little yacht cruiser, some type. Or maybe I'll say it's like the space biplane because of the solar panels. I don't know, but that's not really what the point of this commentary is about. So here I finally decided to deploy the solar panels and turn on the lights, because I was thinking if I run out of fuel, I'm going to go down in glory. Of course, just because my fuel situation seemed, you know, worse than I would have thought. Since normally when I'm launching stuff up, it's just so much overkill that I have, like, you know, I only use like 60 units of fuel from that little orbital booster stage. I don't know what to call it. Can't think of the term because it's not like a lunar ejection stage or something. Yeah, I guess it's just, I mean, orbit circulizer stage or something like that. Sounds kind of stupid, so I'm going to call it an orbital booster. But really, I'm just kind of rambling on here without point, just because I want you guys to see it in the, when I was taking screenshots, you can see it without all the map stuff and all zoomed in and nice lighting. So I'm just circulating the orbit here because I like getting things to a certain amount because I'm kind of OCD about it. Just like, if any of you watched the old Minecraft videos that I took down just because, you know, they were made when I was young, or younger. I'm still young, only 15. But in those videos, I mean, looking back on it, my voice sounds really high, and they're kind of embarrassing. Although I don't think they're bad videos anyway. Just don't like it, so I made all those videos private. But those of you who might have watched them, which I don't know why I'm talking about this for so long, but I was just really OCD in that series. I think I spent an episode called OCD, just like leveling dirt and stuff, and like evening land pass and everything. I mean, that's the kind of thing I did all the time in Minecraft. But this is not Minecraft, and I don't even know if Minecraft will ever be on this channel again, so I don't know what I'm talking about for so long. But the whole point of that rant was to explain why I wanted to get the periaps and apoaps both under 150,000 meters or 150 kilometers, and ended up with an orbit that was, the difference in apoaps and periaps was very little, like, I don't know, 70 meters or something. And I know there you can see the lights on. It makes a kind of cool pattern on the side of the ship too. But I know from watching Scott Manley's video, they're just like, oh, you know, I don't know why I'm trying to do this fake Scottish accent that other people do when they impersonate him, but he was talking about how really the apoaps and periaps don't matter to the semi-major axis, which is the average distance, the average radius of the orbit. But I don't have mech jibs, so I can't tell what the semi-major axis is, so getting close to periaps and apoaps is good enough for me. And at this point, I think I'm just finishing off circularizing it because the periaps is stuck at like 149.9 kilometers, also known as 149,990 meters. And so I think I finally got it done there, and then I go into screenshot mode. So as you can see, I mean, I just think this ship looks awesome. And I'm going to keep saying it because I really like it. So here I start taking screenshots, take a few in this position, then I think I turn it up north since I normally park stuff north, and then I try to find an angle where all the solar panels are at the same angle, and eventually I think at some point I get it where they're all flat so it really looks like a biplane, and that's why I say that. And that's the point, and here I start rotating in the wrong direction at first, and that's the point where I finally started thinking it looked like a biplane. But I don't know, I just think it looks cool, and I really need to stop saying that over and over again because that's not a commentary. But whatever, I can pimp my own shit on my videos as much as I want. And with that lovely comment, I'm going to leave you guys. Remember, next episode I will do some attempt to save Kerman, for he is a brave and magical soul. And oh, there's the moon up there. That's cool. Never noticed that. And so with that, guys, I want to thank you all for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and have a nice day. Bye, guys.